Alrighty. Fireside chat has officially begun. So, as far as stuff that I've been working on, I think not too much. I think a lot of very small things I was doing, like removing the Discord link from the website so it's still on the forums. I added an announcement on the forums, so it's really easy to find, but you just have to go on the forums. Even if you don't have an account, you have to go on the forums rather than just it being on the home page. And that was from Pato saying how if you link the website in public recruitment posts and then they just go to the website, they can just join the server right away. But if we remove that link there, then they have to go talk to whoever made the post or make some more contact before just jump on the server, which I think is a good thing. I think you guys brought that up to me before, and I liked having it on the main page because I thought, well, what if like old members just Google the clan and they want to find a way back to it? But I mean, if they go to the website, there's a giant button that says go to our forums here, so they know, there's still a way to find us. It's not like we're hidden or anything. So that was done. I definitely still want to get codexes rolled out, and I might try to message some of the Huskarls and Thanes working on that and try to get that rolling some more. Obviously, Un's favorite has been already making theirs, but I think the rest... I would like to see some posts from all of them. I'd have to reread the handbook again, but I believe I've already put in there, like I was hoping at least like 2 posts a month or something like that. I think is a reasonable minimum. It's really not very much considering you can make it so anybody in your warband can add entries. I mean, I feel like it should be pretty manageable, but just to provide some more record of these warbands, so it's not just like, well, what happened the last 4 months? I don't know. My hope is that in the future people can go back and say, oh, this warband was around from this time to this time, and these were all the people in it. This guy led it from this point to this point. Oh, they did this event at this point or something. Or, oh, here's a flag they had for this time period or stuff. Just, some cool historical background for all of them. And I think, on the flip side, giving us some more character and uniqueness and stuff with that too. So, yeah, I'm going to try to get that rolling some more. And hopefully I'll probably be throwing out some links to that How to Create a Warband Codex thread I made, because I'm seeing 2 views on it, so I'm thinking at least some of the Huskarls did not get a chance to see it. So, but I think it does a pretty good job of explaining like what is a codex supposed to be and providing a bunch of different options of what they can do. It doesn't have to be like you write a giant story, because it's not like not everybody likes writing stories, and everybody is good at it. There's tons of other options. It's just some kind of record keeping. So that's probably something I want to look to do. Marks is still, I didn't get much done with Marks. I did create a mark for the new Vargr commander kind of elite order. That's kind of a new tradition that they're coming back with. The old Knight Order was the Vargr, and this is kind of a new thing that Khan has brought back, so it's pretty exciting. I've seen some talk of that in Commander chat, and there is a mark for it, which I think turned out really well. Sometimes with the marks, they just I don't know, I just kind of throw some stuff together, and every once in a while I get one that it just somehow just clicks, and it just turns out pretty well. Even though I think my style of making marks and art kind of stuff is pretty much just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. It's pretty random, so sometimes it works. But yeah, I'm working on still making more mark boards. Like I said, I definitely want to have everyone Berserker and up have one, so I'll still try to get that. And I'm gonna make a couple of little handbook changes at some point next update. I don't know when that's gonna be, but probably within a month or something, I would say. Just a random guess. And the main thing for that would be just a couple of typos, and I think the only big thing was I was looking to probably change the wording on some of our rules, because I feel like there's a couple things I'm kind of repeating stuff a little bit in the rules, like don't be mean to people, don't disrespect people, don't insult people. Like a lot of stuff that I think probably it could all just be condensed a little bit more, while at the same time maybe making it more specific or something. I don't know, but I'm gonna sit down and try to probably revise it a little bit. And that's something we've been talking about a lot in the all thing and incident discussion is rules and enforcing rules has been like a big thing the past week, and I think how a lot of people feel, or at least certainly how I feel, is just to try to make it so people aren't being just like super negative. I guess I think like negative is like a good word to describe just what I'm like trying to oppose, I guess, because I feel like I don't want to say like you can't joke about anything. Like I definitely don't want it to be that, but I think the goal is just to yeah, try to make sure that it's like a positive community we have here. I think that was something that WA has been about for a really long time, and I think we're still mostly about it. You know, I still I guess the few bad things always like stick out, like you remember those, but nobody remembers. You know, I love seeing everyone welcoming new people in Bifrost. I think that's awesome. I can't remember whose idea it was to make that, but that was a good idea. We've had a lot of stuff like that. You know, people suggesting to me things and trying them out, and it doesn't always work, but a lot of times it does. And I think generally, I would say generally we have a pretty good spirit of welcoming people and being generally nice here, which is cool. So yeah, that's sort of what we've been talking about in the all thing and whatnot. And then what I was working on, Mark's little handbook stuff. I know I've got a lot of stories and articles and stuff that are in various stages of completion that I've been procrastinating. So hopefully I'll get some more work done on those at some point too.
On that topic, again, like I don't want to push you or anything, but you did make a forum specifically for the shared story that we were supposed to start, and I've kind of been looking forward to that. It's still empty.
Yeah. Oh man, I forgot about that. Yeah, I do need to get that started. I'll look to do that ASAP. Because I'm excited about that too. Oh man, yeah, I
it's no rush, and I know and honestly, there's some things that you should take priority over that, but at the same time, I think it'd be a really cool thing to get started.
I think it would too, and it wouldn't be that much work for me. I mean, it's certainly less work than writing like a whole story or something.
Well, exactly. You get it started, and then you just get the ball rolling. Everyone else is supposed to take over from there. Another thing, just because you're mentioning the marks, I've been trying to organize a sort of end game, really difficult run for something in Warframe. That you basically have to survive an hour in very difficult situations and then fight this big baddie that's only appears after an hour of survival. I was wondering if we could make a mark for that if we ever get to finish that, because it's a pretty cool achievement within Warframe, and I'd like to honor the members who end up doing it.
Yeah, I'd say so. I've been kind of stingy about marks in the past, but I think
if you don't think it's worth it, I just think it hasn't been done yet. Like, I'm still organizing it. I'm still figuring the details out. It's just that if we could get through it, I think, and there's only a squad is 4 people in the game, and I'm only bringing the 3 people who offered first, but I have several other people who want to do it afterwards. So I'm just hoping that we could, honor that achievement for anyone who does it. I don't know. I know marks are usually more, high tier than that. Just an idea.
Okay, sorry, I was tapping in Twitch chat to Anarian.
No worries.
Yeah, no, I definitely think we can make a mark. No, I was saying, I think I've been stingy in the past because I worried about making too many, but I think that sounds like something that would be good. You know, it reminds me of
Well, you
the Eve Online marks. There's a couple of those for various big things, and I think those are cool. Yeah, I definitely I can.
you made the Plague Star mark for Warframe, and that's just a very easy, just random event that happens in the game. And I mentioned it was an event, and that we all did it, and we got the statue and everything, which was an achievement for so few people doing it. But I think what I'm trying to plan here is an actual like legitimate achievement within the game, and you get like a cool like vanity reward in the game as well. But I thought, let's honor the members who go through this arduous 1 hour survival.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome. And yeah, I mean, even if it's something not so difficult like you're saying about the Plague Star thing, I think if it was something impressive, like you said, with the number of people that did it. I mean, that reminds me of the Yule raid, that I did, years and years back. It was 4 or 5 people, and it wasn't something. I mean, it was cool. It was like against the odds, I guess, but it wasn't like some kind of like super super difficult thing like everything was at stake or something. It was more of just, yeah, it was just a raid. I mean, we just attacked a bunch of people when they weren't expecting it, when we had been a very very small group that had just been losing battles all the time. So
Right.
yeah, I think just moments where it's like, oh cool, it makes you feel like some WA pride or something like that, I think is awesome to have marks for too.
That's what I was thinking. So sorry to sidetrack. I just thought, I'd mention it, the mark idea at some point here. Yeah, the mark, the shared story. I think that's everything I wanted to mention.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I can definitely make a mark, and yeah, I'll start in that story, and you'll have to let me know, because I think we're on the same page with exactly what you were thinking the shared story would be. But once I start it, I might message you, or feel free to let me know if it's like not exactly what you're thinking of. 'Cause I think we're on the same page about it, but
I think so too. But yeah, I if you want to like let me know as you're working on it, I'd appreciate it too. It'd be cool.
oh, that's yeah. I'll just let you know what I'm thinking about posting. I'll
Cool.
think of something.
Wow, very quiet in here today.
Yeah, not a big turnout. I know I didn't. I made an announcement like 3 minutes before. Sometimes I do like half an hour before, but maybe everyone's on
Yeah.
what, WoW or Monster Hunter World are the big things, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe people are listening to it in the background. We only have 2 viewers. At least Denarian is here. I know, because he's in Twitch chat. So
I don't
Cool.
watch it because I'm here.
yeah. I wonder if it's counting me as a viewer. It might be. I'm not sure.
No, it should not.
Okay. Let's see. Well, I've got this like TXT document where I just write down like random things, anything WA related.
One thing I did want to talk about was something that I suggested a little while ago for the Bifrost. So, what would you guys think about making it to where guests can only see the Bifrost in the calendar and the announcements?
Guess going to see Bifrost calendar and announcements. You said?
Yeah.
Rules. I'd add rules to that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I'm open to discussing it, but at the same time, I feel like we've got a lot of guys like guests, like Eldfinner jumps to mind. We've got like even like old WA members who are guests who just aren't around. Lance, who just aren't around much, but that would mean that they don't even have access to Mead Hall. You're thinking?
Right, but this is more towards newer people who are joining the server, like at random. I mean, it's not as a prevalent problem now as it used to be, but I think that if a guest is allowed to like come in and like use all of our channels, stuff like that, it opens up to like a lot of things kind of just getting clustered, a lot of channels getting spammed with stuff they don't want to be in there. And it'll also help encourage the new guests to kind of go ahead and join us, and be a part of it, so they do have access to all those channels.
Hmm.
Because we have the 48-hour rule.
Right.
You have to wait 48 hours. I don't think it's something that it's a solution to any kind of problem, but I feel like it adds a bit of incentive for people to join.
It it definitely does. I know actually, interesting. I guess I'll bring this up as a little relevant, but there was some older members who were kind of mad to not be included in the even just losing access to the house channels. Because I'm an old commander, I'm an old Dane, I'm an old Dippity. Why can't I see that channel when they aren't really active? They don't want to do roll calls or rejoin or anything. So even that was incentive, at least for older members. But I suppose it's not necessarily the case for new members who don't even know what a house is.
If I may interject about this, personally, if I had joined this channel and been a guest and I'd seen that everybody's talking in a certain channel and I'm not allowed to be about that, if I'm not allowed to be in that conversation, I wouldn't have been active at all. I would have just shut off and been like, okay, this is their.
Well, you can't even see it. It's not that you don't have the permission to chat in there; it's just you can't even see it.
That still means that there's people I can't see, I can't talk to.
Right, but you can't just participate in a group's like stuff if you're not actually a part of that group. We're not open. We're not public. We're private.
Nah. All I'm saying is it would have turned me off. It would have turned me off right quick.
Would people have access to the voice channels, Rand? Are you thinking, or?
I didn't get that far. Maybe certain ones, like the halls.
I don't know. I guess I'm not. It's not something I would straight up dismiss. Certainly, like, I don't know. I guess. Are you thinking that like there's like guests have been causing problems coming into other channels, like spamming them or using the wrong channels or something?
No, but to me it kind of adds like a certain flavor. It's like you can't access all our functions unless you're actually a part of us.
I'll jump in. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
also,
know.
it
I
kind
feel
of
like the Bifrost is pretty dead. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's no real conversations in the Bifrost. There's no way to really introduce the new recruits in. All the action really happens is the meat hall. Where people just
Bifrost sees a lot of action.
I mean, just like general chat. No one's gonna go to.
Well,
Bifrost
that's not what it's made for.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I think you want the new recruits to see like what our clan is and like how open we are, I guess, kind of.
All right, and if new people are landing in Bifrost, they're having to do the majority of their like introductories there. Bifrost will, in my opinion, will see more action, and on top of this, it also will add incentive to warriors to maintain their warrior status and not just get demoted to guest. Because then they lose like 90% of their functions of WA. Yeah. Anyone?
I think it's a way to do it. I personally wouldn't like it.
Well, don't become a guest, man.
I
might just force that one on
you. The very minimum requirement is absolutely like nothing. It's kind of just a hit or miss. If people want to, people want to stay. They literally just post
totally against doing what we require. All you have to do is push the roll call once a month. That would prevent you from getting kicked.
What's up, guys?
Hey, so are you thinking that Bifrost would then become a lot more of a second meat hall just for guests?
It would become an introductionary channel. Because that's where people would have to explain what WA is to them.
I don't think I've ever seen somebody explain text-wise what WA is. It's always in a
Yeah,
voice.
because I thought like usually like the person that brings them in gives them like the speech kind of to get them to join, like not in a public channel.
That is the
Right.
idea. They can do it in a public channel. I can't remember exactly what it says in the recruitment guide, but yeah, the person who brings them in is supposed to kind of explain, show them the ropes, all that kind of thing. It could be done in a public channel, I suppose.
I think what you would see is just like constant like spam of the same thing, if that was the case as like an introductory channel. Like, oh, this is WA.
It wouldn't be spam because it has a point. Is you're explaining WA to someone. I mean, sure, it'll be similar. Some people will tailor what it is to the exact person, but it all has a point.
It would be cool to see people go to the trouble of typing out, explanations for overview of WA and all that stuff, for each person they wanted to recruit or each person that comes to the that comes to the server. I think if it was like somebody just copy and pasting some paragraph over and over again, this is my WA introduction paragraph, I think would be kind of spammy, but I think. I don't know if people are just holding a conversation about WA that's unique each time. It
I'll
would
be
be a
honest.
departure from the current Bifrost for sure.
That part would be pretty appealing to me. I have a hard time figuring out how to recruit someone, and I would love to see examples.
That's true. That would kind of make it that public space so everyone could kind of and people could join in too. Like maybe if like some guy just made Warrior doesn't know everything about WA quite. He's recruiting. Maybe he says he makes a mistake or something. Somebody else reads it and they're like, oh, actually it's like this. So it even cover for mistakes. I'm warming up to this idea more and more. I don't know.
Yeah, and like I don't know about most of you, but I know Vess has seen like a lot of my introductory writings to a lot of different recruits. So I'd be happy to bring it, try to bring in some recruits. And then for the first few examples, I'll write out everything I tell them in the Bifrost. Because I've done it so many times now. It's always a little different every time because I remember certain things at different points. So it's always flows differently.
So do you think this is something where like permanent guests might have a different role or something? Like I'm just thinking back to those old members, Lance, Eldfinner, these guys who were in WA a long time, or even just people who have been guests on our server for a long time who haven't joined or aren't interested in rejoining. Should those people then have a different role so they can see the meat hall or something, or do you think they should only see Bifrost as well?
I want them to feel shunned. I think they should just be with everyone else.
Off with your heads.
By everyone else, you mean they can like all the other guests?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. I know it's probably a little controversial because certainly some of these people were in WA.
Oh, let's go Niflheim then.
Some of these people were in WA a long time, and it's not like trying to disrespect them or anything, but I think Rand does make a point of it does incentivize rejoining, which is obviously we want people to join. I mean, that's something we're gunning for.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, definitely. We shouldn't compensate for people who are like who come on like once. I don't know how often these guests come, but like if they're not that active, there's no real point to
Yeah.
giving them a whole different permission.
I do. I am starting to rather like that idea of just putting guests in Bifrost. So, but you think maybe they should have access? I think they should like some voice channel access would make sense because like say
Like with the halls.
yeah, like you get into like a League of Legends lobby or something, you just invite some random, and it's like they can hop into voice with you or something,
Right.
Hang out with them at least.
Like I know a lot of the people do do that little spill about WA in voice chat too. So they'll always have that option as well.
Yeah, I don't know. And I kind of like that. It creates more of a divide because it's like, okay, if you join WA, you'll get access to the whole server. And on the flip side, they've only got access to the person who recruited them, like DMing them and stuff, and Bifrost. So it kind of facilitates that, contact between the recruit and the recruiter.
Yeah.
You know,
They'll see a whole cocktail of WA members just like rushing at them. Here's what it is. Here's what it is.
right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually rather liking this. A couple of you guys were kind of had some points against it. Are you guys still feeling that, or?
Yeah, I think this is going to breed exclusivity in a bad way.
Insofar as people we're just not going to get as many recruits. You're thinking, or what do you mean?
Yeah, it's what it's gonna do. I feel is breed this like air of if you're not in here and a member, then you shouldn't be here. And I think
Well, they have access to Bifrost.
I think it's way too much, and it's gonna make us look like a jolly bunch of assholes, to be honest.
I feel like that's not someone that we want to be a part of WA. He's gonna come in and be like, oh, I don't have full 100% access, so fuck you guys. I don't think. Oh, my bad. But I forgot about the Twitch stream. But
I think it's fine. I don't even know what the rules are.
I feel like that's kind of like a really negative way of coming to something,
Yeah, we don't want those kind of. I'm gonna go against what you said, Gal, because, me being new to the community, coming in, becoming a member really quickly, I would never expect that I have access to all the different things, nor would I even know because I've been a member for 5 months now, and I'm a raider and I'm supposed to know things, and I still don't even know exactly what every single channel does. Like, I wouldn't be mad coming in here not knowing what Codex, Obsidian, sit reps, like not seeing all that wouldn't matter as long as you can get in and play with your buddies. That's the first step. And then if you really want to get to know the lore and you want to be a part of it, that's when things open up for you. You're not missing anything by just coming into voice channels and saying, hey, I guess I don't know where you would come off, like what parts do you think that they would deserve to have, I guess I would ask.
yeah, and we said that they'll also have access to the halls, the hall channels. So
Yeah.
it's not gonna be, super exclusive. If a guest doesn't want to join but still game with some people on here, they'll be able to do that in the guest halls.
Actually, it might be nice for some of them because they won't have so many channels to try to find out where they're supposed to go.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted
I'm
you,
just
Gal.
trying to-
What were you saying?
I don't know. This idea. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I personally dislike it. But if you guys want to move forward with it, that's. I mean, you're my superiors. I fully respect it. Whatever.
Well, I definitely understand where you're coming from because I think, especially the last few years, with the Discord server, WA has been very, very open. Anybody can just come in and join our server. And until a few months ago, even recruiting-wise, I think we were more lenient as far as just somebody would join and we just say, get this guy some roles, bam, you're in WA, And so I think certainly a lot of people will probably be used to, just that more leniency, that more openness, but. Historically, WA was, it used to be you had to join the StarCraft channel, you had to go through the whole, you got taken into a private channel, and then you had to go through the whole recruitment process, and it was a lot more, there's a lot more of like a filter on it and stuff, and I know, I kind of was from that era, so personally, I'm not afraid of it getting a little bit more exclusive, but, I mean, that's my view, and I mean, certainly, I can understand some, any of you guys disagreeing with it.
I mean, that's kind of how you keep the bullshit out too, right?
I think it's definitely deserving of a trial run.
Yeah, and I think this, and maybe we can bring this up in like instant discussion or all thing or something as well. Like exactly which channels they would have access to, and some people have missed the Fireside chat, some of the officers, and maybe they can want to chime in as well. But I'm definitely open to moving forward with it. Honestly, I'm fairly convinced, I would say.
Ran the idea guy.
I'm just still a little bit curious as to maybe people just feel like not being included in something makes them feel like they're outcasts, kind of. But I think that's kind of that's such like a new and upcoming idea in this country. Is like, if you're not included, you're a loser or something. But like, that's not there. It's an online community and there's rules to be had. So like, if you're not going to agree to the rule book or even have knowledge of what the rule book is, you should have limited access, because you need to be in a controlled environment until you agree to the rules, and that's just to keep things good for the whole community. That's the way I look at it. Like, I've never joined a server that was really, really good and well kept and respectful when there wasn't someone managing who was allowed inside. Like, the best communities I've ever been a part of were exclusive, were the people who like gauged the people who came in and said, is this guy legit or not? Or is this girl legit or not? Are they respectful? Are they kind? Do they care about what this is all about? Not just like inviting 15-year-olds from Fortnite in and being like, we should give them all the rights because they're new people. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
just
I
my
don't
idea.
know.
But-
It's just my opinion, but I kind of do feel like the whole, like, if someone's new, like, have some restrictions. Because, like, for example, like, I talked to a few of the other clanmates on World of Warcraft, for example, talking about having only members that are actually in the clan having certain access to certain stuff in the guild, for example.
Yeah, that makes sense, I think. And I mean, I guess when I jump into the head of, somebody who has the guest role, I think it's either going to be like an older member, in which case it's like, way back, they probably remember way back when you had to make a forum account because WA was mostly we interacted on the forums. You had to make a forum account to really join WA. And to me, I mean, this is a similar thing. Yeah, you have to join WA on Discord here to gain access to everything. So I think it's a similar vein. I think if they're a brand new guest or something, I mean, they'll have access to voice channels, they'll have access to Bifrost, which everyone can see, so they can still talk to people and everything. It would just be Bifrost being that bridge, I guess. To the guests, the new members and stuff, and yeah, I mean, I do like that it provides that incentive to join.
100%.
It's always a much sweeter feeling to join a group that feels exclusive.
Yeah, and on the other hand, keeping it exclusive for people like us who, I mean, I get where Galmir's coming from, totally, like, obviously resonates with being, on the outside of something. And I guess I've been in communities for so long that we're so enclosed. I think maybe when people come in, it should be on everyone to kind of make them feel, I know we've been making people feel welcome, but to kind of let them know the difference of, where they're at and what it would be like otherwise. But I mean, I guess I'm still really confused on this. Like, what the hell do guests not have that we do besides like all the different channels with all the stuff on it?
The only thing the guests do not have that we do are house channels.
Well, and the Great Company and Warband channels as well.
Okay.
Ah, yes, those two.
Yeah, so when they come in, they're kind of, if we're all in Warband channels, we won't really see them.
Yeah. So basically, we'll be taking away the Naming and some Seeker stuff as well.
Gotcha. But they still see like Niflheim and D&D
No,
and,
no. Naming and D&D is
I
or
mean,
Niflheim
Yeah.
and D&D is Naming.
Right now, I think the proposal is they'd basically only be able to see the stuff under WAS Seeker, with a few exceptions, like not. What were you saying? Like not recruits, introductions,
Not
or
LOAs, not introductions, not recruits.
Okay.
Just calendar, announcements,
so
rules.
just Volley,
Bifrost.
Frag, Neorder, and Scotty. That's it?
Yes.
For
Yeah.
voice, yeah, and then Bifrost
Okay.
rules, announcements, calendar.
Because
Well,
some
if we're
people, like
gonna-
I said, will
Oh.
prefer to do their stuff in
Would-
voice.
Would someone want to post an intro even though they're not joined yet?
No, that
I
should
almost,
not be for guests.
I kind of agree with Rana. I kind of like intros as a welcome to WA opportunity, like introducing yourself to WA as a new member. And I mean, that comes from, because that's how it always was, on the forums. It was, hey, I just joined today, I joined the clan and whatnot. But yeah, I wouldn't mind that being a thing only WA members have access to. I don't know.
I think we're gonna need to start hanging out up there as well. If we are gonna have limited access for them, we'll probably have to hang out in those 4 channels more, so we're more accessible to
Those
new people.
4 channels see the most use.
They
Really?
do. It's true, and I mean, if they're really crowded, I can certainly look at it like adding another one or two of those kind of voice channels up there.
Okay.
I mean, we could, if you guys think, we could actually add some duties for certain ranks, like Raider or Berserker or something, where they have to be like in those voice channels or looking at the Bifrost text channel to try to welcome guests or something. I don't know if you guys think that is necessary.
Yeah, like that
Definitely
could be
something
like
good for
officers
Berserkers and
specific
Huskarls.
channel. Go ahead.
No, that's all I was saying. I just think Berserkers and Huskarls, I've talked to a lot of them recently because, me wanting to move up through, I spoke a lot to the Huskarls and they were saying they don't really have a whole lot going on and not a lot for Berserkers to do to really get up there and not a lot for Raiders to do to move into Berserker. So, I mean, that's just one small thing we can absolutely do to, make the transition easier for people coming in for the first time.
Right. And I was about to say, I think another one of my career paths that might hold some fruition is for officers specifically, or for raiders and berserkers, to do like channel flow. So let's say we have some berserkers who are specifically tasked with keeping the flow of, the D&D channel or keeping the flow of the mead hall, so that there's always some kind of activity going on in there when they're online. So that, or someplace like Gin Gap or Niflheim, where
Assign one of them the forums. They have to keep making forum threads on there. I'd love to see it.
well, not so much as spam, but just allowing for more like opportunities for people to hop in and chat, because a lot of people don't like to start chat. I personally, like, I'm friends with like a lot of people who will tell me it's like, like I'm not really good at starting conversations, but when you start one, I don't have any trouble hopping in. And so I feel like if we have some people who can kind of like keep conversations like started, get people talking, that could be another career path that opens up for people to kind of work for.
So do you
like
think
having
we should have, you say career path, should we have like some sort of designation for different kinds of berserkers or huskarls or something?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, have like specific channels that they focus on.
So maybe berserkers similar to Thanes have some sort of mini mission that they're assigned, like each one has their own, you're kind of saying?
Yeah, I feel like that could be applied to almost any rank, though. But
I'd,
specifically, we want to help the berserkers and the raiders find their way.
I think this should be applied based on like personality type. Certain people are
100%.
naturally going to excel at this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Of
just
course.
get everyone together and have a conversation. What do you feel comfortable with? What do you feel like me wanting to move up into the berserker role and actually start recruiting and doing those things? As you guys know, I'm new, but I have no problem talking to anyone or being honest with anyone or pretty much anything. So
Maybe like
I
you could hold berserker, but then if you take on like a duty, then you're a berserker with a duty. That's better than just a berserker without a duty, and that duty could be, I mean, it could be anything, but
yeah,
people take that on as like an actual job.
I would
like-
sorry, Goth. I would want to add, not admin, but like moderator, like the person who's in charge of that channel, to keep it lively, or several channels, I would hope, because we have a lot of channels. We're all the officers are supposed to be moderating, but I think they would focus on those channels. Just keep an eye out.
More
it'd be
coverage.
good to
Yeah.
have berserkers have admin, just because a lot of times they're on, but they feel powerless. Like I've spoke to a couple berserkers recently, and they kind of didn't know where to go in situations that kind of flared up, and obviously because they just don't have power, they know they're going to need to go up one or up two to get something done. And I think maybe people that are higher up, like you, Kuzi, where you're doing the classes, or whoever else, could train the younger berserkers to be more comfortable with conflict resolution, because as new people come in, there's going to be conflict, and it's the opposite as well. You want people to be prepared to start the conversation or get things rolling or talk about WA and start that conversation and have that take precedent over just having fun and gaming, and taking on more responsibility to give them more ability to move up and be more of a leader. So that's kind of how I envision it, is people just having more control when the big guys aren't on, and something's going on or there's new people coming in, they can really, take the reins and do what they need to do and feel comfortable with it.
I gotta be honest. When I first heard the same about giving berserkers admin powers, I was like, man, that sounds horrible. But as I'm kind of thinking about it, a lot of our staff, like I said in other officer chats, is we are actually very understaffed. We have very few Huskarls.
Severely, yeah.
We have very few things, and not even. I don't think Olfald's not even a thing anymore, so I don't think there is any income is bigger. But I think allowing or giving people the chance to see what they do with admin powers and see how they respect it will be a way to determine, another way of determining if we have someone who's worthy of being an officer.
Yep.
Well, you say powers. What do you think they need to be able to do? Because I mean, in Discord, it's all permissions. Like each permission is kind of by itself. So you think like delete messages or what do you?
Delete messages, quiet, mute, ban if need be, or remove from server, things like that. If things get out of hand, or having the ability to be like, hey, if you don't come talk to me real quick alone, I'm gonna have to kick you off the server because you're causing a ruckus until we figure this out and we can talk later. And that will at least give them some sort of power. I think the problem now is a couple situations have arisen just in the last week or two, and a couple of the berserkers are just like, yeah, I don't even know what to do. And I was like, yeah, I know what I could have done, but I'm just a raider, and there was no one else on. So we kind of just let it go. And
I think
respectfully,
now, what berserkers are, they don't really have too much responsibilities. I'm just gonna point that out there. And we weren't like, there was no formal training. You kind of just get promoted because you are active and you respect the clan, et cetera, and you want to take on more responsibility.
Berserker is Huskarl in training.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying there was no real training for like a raider to become berserker.
Oh man, you don't gotta be defensive. I wasn't saying you specifically or any of the berserkers. I was just saying.
No, I'm just saying in general, like.
I think the people who have moved on from Raider, like the way you look at it in the handbook, the way I look at that is like you said, it's like Raider's kind of like that big step between Warrior and Berserker, where everyone kind of knows who you are, or at least has talked to you a bunch. You're known as someone who respects the rules, right? And you're looking to do more a little bit. You know what I mean? And then Berserker's like, you are gonna do more because you're at that point now. But the problem is, and I've talked to the Huskarls and the Berserkers a lot recently, and it's just like, well, there's nothing. It's just small projects, or let's get this crest done, or, it's not really anything. I'm not saying that power is needed here, Vest. That's not what I was trying to say, like permissions or any other leadership. But I think it would be good to give them something, because feeling powerless in every situation and not having something to be able to do about, bad things that happen is kind of lame, in my opinion, for them, because they are powerless, right? So if they start something, how are they going to be able to finish it? And a lot of them are a lot of the berserkers are very mild toned, I guess.
And like I said, we are understaffed, so we do need more eyes and people who are able to solve conflicts.
Only if they're able to. We shouldn't be looking to promote people willy-nilly.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, I think we have a lot of great berserkers, and I don't want them to feel powerless. On the flip side, it's like, I mean, Berserker is sort of like, we're kind of being like, okay, we're test driving you to see if maybe you could be a leader like a Huskarl at one point. So I hesitated to give them like a lot of moderator stuff, because really, the idea with Berserker is still kind of that we're seeing if they would be, if we think that they would be ready for that kind of thing, I guess. Like, what I want to say is I'm not sure that we'll always be able to trust berserkers with moderator powers. I think the individuals that hold the rank right now, I think I would trust them all with it, but I don't know about just like making it like once you reach berserker, you would get some powers. It would depend the powers were.
Yeah, like you have specific people who are on a lot. I mean, I think it really depends on who's on a lot too, because a couple of the berserkers aren't on as much as the other ones, from what I've seen. So obviously most active ones, and then people who have displayed the ability to keep cool and not take things personally. I think that's the biggest thing if you're going to give a permission like that. An Arian would be really good. He keeps everything objective. I'm just saying not anyone else know, or I'm just giving an example.
Well, the rank berserker should be like a dry run for higher ranks, right? So
But what if they make a mistake, right? They ban someone on that, they make it. Then it's like we need to have a big discussion, or this guy's not ready, and then at least
Well, that's not necessarily the end all be all. I mean, no one's going in here and just like banning people. That's not how it works.
That doesn't
it's,
even
it's
happen
a big
here
discussion,
anyways, yeah.
right? It's how do you handle this situation? Then we can trust you to make the call with the powers, right? So we need people to say, and this was my point earlier. Someone was saying something about being powerless. It's like you don't need power to stomp in and stop a bad situation. You just say, hey, listen, don't do that. That's inappropriate. Whatever, take it out. I don't want to see that in here. Blah blah blah. You can just say something, and then if they don't respect that, get someone after you've already made your case to do what needs to be done.
Well,
in
of
terms
course.
of power. So
I think he was
dry
going on
run,
without.
and then see how it goes before they step up. I mean, if they're constantly handling situations well, then they've earned the ability to do what needs to be done, right? So it's prove yourself first, then you get what you need to do.
Well, I think he was kind of having that gone without saying. Like, no one can just step into the middle of a conflict, just start deleting messages and expect it to go well. Of course, you have to stop the conflict before you can start cleaning up the channel.
For the record, when I said, to add to Rand's idea of career paths, people, contributing to certain channels, when I said moderation, I wasn't specifically thinking permissions or anything big like that. I was just thinking, keep an eye out, report things, tell people to move. I know it's been fairly unsuccessful so far in certain areas for that, but me personally, I wasn't thinking permissions, deleting posts, all that stuff.
Right. And if we have someone who's focusing on specific channels, they'll be more inclined to keep their channel looking better.
That's what I'm saying, and really, I was tying that in with everything we were talking about before. Where we were talking about new recruits and people coming in. Normally, when new people come in, it's the most risk for a volatile situation because they don't know the rules yet and they haven't heard that everyone's on board with it. So psychologically, you feel more inclined to be yourself, or unless you're awkward and you have anxiety, or it's the opposite and you don't talk to anyone. But it really depends on who you bring in. And if no one's here to resolve those type of things and you need to get someone, I guess if you guys just want to respect the command and keep permissions really high up, that's absolutely, I have no say in that. I'm just saying there are so few people in this clan willing to really deal with things outside of private discussion that it's definitely caused some uneasy situations even for me where I've just had to leave a channel because there's a couple schmucks making ridiculously racist jokes. Or talking too much, or they have their mic open, and all those things I could have just dealt with if I could freaking kick them because they were idiots anyways, and they have bad tempers and they don't listen, and I feel like, and this is no bash for anyone, I just feel like you guys are super loosey goosey with people who have bad attitudes. I feel like, I don't know if you guys just have like a spirit of like, I want to give people a million chances, but there are a couple people who come in here regularly who are just nasty people. And, having people who want to control their channels and make a certain environment for new people should have a little bit more control. Not even permissions to kick. I'm just saying to be able to tell someone, you got to dry up and be comfortable and trained on how to say that. Because there are I've talked to some leadership recently. It just seems like there are a lot of people who aren't comfortable with saying the things that need to be said. And that's just from what I've seen. And I'm not trying to bash anyone at all. I'm just bringing it up.
I would say, well, kicking and banning in our channels is always going to be the absolute last resort.
100%.
So definitely banning and kicking should be a permission that's only left for, the highest ranking officers.
Yeah, like Jarl's High King. Or just High King.
Yeah. I mean, Best should probably be the only one, in my personal opinion, who can ban someone from the Discord. That should be like final decision.
Yeah.
But channel kicking, it's a little bit of a different beast. I think if people are just kind of kicking someone from the channel because they don't like what they're saying or because they don't agree with what they're saying.
Is there a specific permission for muting someone in a certain channel?
Well, so
you can always mute someone personally, you know.
No, they're
It's
not
rough.
that though. Not that. Like shutting someone up
Like,
because
server
they're
mute.
yeah.
What I'm thinking is, if we were to give a permit, like let's say a permission to a berserker who's moderating a channel, there's something getting out of control. There's no officer currently online, which happens fairly regularly during the day.
Yep.
And they really need to shut it down. And there's these two people. I was thinking, they could mute both of those people temporarily.
Temporarily, yeah.
Is that something that a permission that can be done?
So there's a server mute, but that it mutes their voice. You can't.
I'm talking more chat.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's no just individual text mute permission. What you would have to do is you'd have to make a role called like probation or something that is not allowed to use text chat, and then you'd have to assign it to people and remove their other roles. And
Yeah,
okay, so it's not as easy as I thought it would be.
yeah,
all that roll timeout and then just put people in timeout.
you can. We actually
Yeah.
did that quite a while back.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, the problem is that in order to be able to give people that role, you need to have the manage roles permission, which means that you can create and delete roles, which is a pretty dangerous permission to have.
In the wrong hands. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
that from TeamSpeak use, believe me.
It would be. I would like it ideally. I think that if, like, say, berserkers could give people that role. Oh, the one thing I do see, the delete messages role, manage messages, so it lets people delete and pin messages, is its own permission. We could possibly give. I don't know if Huskarls have that, but Huskarls or even berserkers could possibly get that. I mean, if that would empower them a little bit more as moderators.
Well, yeah, delete and manage messages, and then the ability to voice mute is perfect because you can shut it down till you get someone on, and then you have the ability to feel like you can do something. I think that would be huge. Like my Unreal Tournament server that I did for like 5 years, we had an in-game thing called Llama, and all you had to do is like Llama the person. We built it into the mod itself for the game, and every time they talked, there was 10 pre-written things that's no matter what they said, it would be like, I wear pink panties, or my mother, blah, blah, blah. And it would just be these funny jokes. So they couldn't say anything and cause a ruckus and talk shit. They were just forced to say that, and we would just keep renewing it every game. And if they came into the server and they were causing problems, we could mute them. But it was definitely really helpful. So you're not kicking people and making them feel like they're going to blow up, but they definitely are getting the hint like, okay, if I don't calm down, I'm going to be in more trouble than this, So definitely gets the point across. Discipline is a very important thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm looking now, and actually, interestingly enough, so I have there's 4 different types of admins or moderator roles that I made, and there's junior mod, regular mod, super mod, and admin, and I am actually realizing now that nobody has the regular mod role. Everyone is either a junior mod or a super mod, so I think there's certainly, I can do some shakeups there. I think probably, at the very least, Thane's, okay, so it's supposed to be Hairseers have moderator. So probably it would be reasonable to say that Jarls and Hairseers are super mods, Thanes are mods, and then maybe Huskarls and perhaps even Berserkers would be junior mods. It's probably a reasonable way to do it. And I'd have to change the handbook text for that, but that seems pretty reasonable to me.
I don't think we should be doing anything with berserkers and roles until we like test out Huskarls. I feel like that's jumping the gun a little bit.
Okay. Well, yeah, definitely, yeah. Then we can look at then making the Huskarls the junior mod role, and
Right.
That's that.
I mean, that may be enough coverage, but let's try it and then just stepwise go from there.
Yeah, I think that should help, and I think that's probably a bit of an oversight on my part. I don't think I've looked at that part of the handbook in a while, but yeah, I think definitely Huskarls should have that ability to. I believe junior mods, I know they can manage messages. Let me see. So they could delete messages. Oh, junior mods can manage roles as well. So.
Ooh. Let's change that up.
So I don't know. I mean, it's it's sort of
How
a
specific are the roles in Discord? I guess I've never really. Have you? Did you ever use TeamSpeak roles, like TeamSpeak 3 roles?
I've used TeamSpeak a lot, but I don't think. I'm not
So
really
they were
familiar with the
very
rules.
specific, and maybe I just need to go create my channel and look at what you can do. But I would imagine it's probably better than TeamSpeak, just because Discord just is better in every way. And there are definitely ways where you can make very specific roles to not be able to have the ability to change roles, but you can do very specific things in your role. So like delete messages and chat mute would be something that one class could specifically do, and you can give something like that small of a role to a berserker. And then Huskarls have the ability to do everything but change roles themselves, like mold roles and make new roles, because that's the scariest thing. People can make themselves give like junior mods all the super mod positions and then delete Vest from the server. Like I've had that happen. I've been like deleted from my own server and like kicked out permanently, and I had to go back in through the ISP and back in the backbone, have the server shut down, like crazy shit. So you got to be careful with that. I mean, you guys have really good people in the higher ups, so I don't think you have anything to worry about. But in the wrong hands, it's super scary.
As far as I know, that's not possible to remove me from the server, but yeah, it is. It's sort of an unfortunate part of Discord. I think that that manage roles thing is you can't just. I wish there was a role that said you can assign roles below your own role in the list to people.
I just don't even know what that looks like.
Can confirm I cannot kick or ban Vest.
No.
Dude,
But the scary thing is he tried it. He actually clicked.
I can mute him, but I can't.
Oh, dude, I banned my clan leader. He was so pissed.
You're on the list now.
Oh, but I can ban everybody else. It looks like.
I know.
Oh.
Best, can you ban exactly half the server?
Can I what?
I was making a joke.
I heard ban half the server. You said.
Listen.
Oh,
Thanos.
pull a Thanos. Okay.
The Discord has
could.
a finite amount of resources.
Yeah. We gotta whittle it down. Yeah, I don't know. I guess certainly that's something to look at, is whether junior mods should have that manage roles or not. I mean, it would be nice for Huskarls to be able to assign roles. Do you guys think that being able to create and delete roles for Huskarls is too much? I mean, the one thing is, in the audit log, it shows whenever somebody creates or deletes a role. So it's not like...
Well, I mean, the point of Huskarl is to manage their own warband, not manage the clan, right?
Yeah, this is true. I mean, it does fit in a little bit, since Huskarls... You can't recruit within 48 hours, right? But if you ask your Huskarl and they approve, then you can. So it would make sense that Huskarls can assign roles so that they can give new
100%.
recruits roles.
Okay, I need to clear this up right now. I've been telling people that the 48-hour rule is only for people who randomly join.
Yeah, I think the idea there is that if it's somebody you've known, for more than 48 hours, that it would be okay.
Right.
I think the worry is that somebody is just finding their way to our server, and then instantly somebody is like, "Hey, want to join WA?" They've never met before, and then it's just that's what the rule is trying to avoid. So.
Right. But if it's someone who you've personally brought to the server to recruit them, they don't have to wait 48 hours.
Yeah, I mean, if you know them previously, I would say it should be okay. Yeah, certainly that is troublesome that is just how the Discord permissions are set up, and maybe at some point they'll improve that a little bit, but I don't know. Do you guys think that manager roles is something Huskarl should have?
It makes
I think they should be allowed to assign roles. Yeah.
Well, that
Because
means they
if
can
they're
create and delete and edit rules as well. It's all one package.
Oh, that's weird.
I mean, I think all your Huskarls wouldn't do any. I mean, you gotta have some trust here. I don't think they would fuck with it.
Just
what I mean?
unofficially don't do it, basically.
Yeah.
Or just manage their own, people.
Yeah,
Unless
I
they're
could
like-
just have mod rules like we had on the forums, where say Huskarls are not maybe just say Huskarls aren't allowed to create roles or something like that, even though they
Right.
have the permission technically, but they're not supposed to.
I think
Hey.
as the only Huskarl in the chat right now, I should just say, when I recruit someone, not being able to give them roles is kind of an annoyance. I always have to request it, but at the same time, it's never been a big deal for me to not have roles. I always thought, previously Huskarls weren't officers. We changed that recently, but I always thought the roles should be exclusive to officers. I wouldn't mind getting those powers. I would just be using them to give out roles to new recruits. That's about it. I also agree that I think all of our current Huskarls are pretty trustworthy with
They're
that.
all rock solid.
But frankly, I'm pretty neutral about it. I don't care either way. It would just, eliminate one step of, asking an officer, could you give them roles, or waiting for an officer to see the recruitment post and then giving them roles. That's about it.
Just setting up people for failure, I guess. Step over the line and you're not a Huskarl anymore.
I definitely get that. I think, I would say we'll probably look at adding that to the junior mod. And like I was saying before, the mod list is already kind of odd because only Hairseers are moderators, so it's kind of weird because it's basically unused at that point. So I don't see any harm in that.
I was gonna say, like, if you guys ever promote Huskarl in the future, just keep a mindfulness that you're gonna need someone who, you want. Obviously, you would trust someone, but you're gonna have to weigh that in your mind if you do give permissions to Huskarls to mess with those roles. Change the permissions. Excuse me.
That shouldn't be a problem. We've gone over an hour here, so I might call the stream here, and I mean we can keep discussing afterwards. I might actually head out myself, but did anybody have anything final they wanted to throw in before I shut off the stream?
I love you all.
I don't.
I care about you.
I'm ready to purge any one of you.
High King, Best King.
Hey, I like it. That's a cause I can get behind.
I'm bowing.
Kiss ass.
When do we coup?
Now.
Okay. Yeah. So I think I'll call the stream. So thank you guys, any viewers on Twitch, and thank you guys for showing up. See you next week.